Today's video is going to be all about my top floral fragrance recommendations for the springtime. So if that's your type of thing, then please keep on watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you are visiting. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Hayley and I review fragrances. So as I already mentioned in the intro, today's video is going to be all about floral fragrances that are perfect for the spring season. And I have picked out 6 of my favorite fragrances that I feel will be perfect for the season ahead. So if that is your type of thing, then please do keep on watching. But before we get started on the content, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. Of course, that is if you do not already. It really helps my channel out and I will continue making videos like this in the future. So now that's all out of the way, let's jump straight in to the first fragrance. The first fragrance is from Nuit Nomade, and this one is called Love at First Sight. And I have been waiting for the weather to warm up so I could reach for this fragrance again. It launched, I think, late in the summer last year, and I didn't get enough chances to wear this one. It is the most beautiful, realistic, lilac dominant fragrance. And I don't have that many lilac forward fragrances within my collection, and this one smells like I am in the most beautiful park surrounded by lilac bushes. It's ultra realistic to my nose at the very least, and it just transports me to the most magical place. It reminds me of Bridgerton vibes. Imagine ladies strolling through a beautiful garden and the air is full of fresh florals wafting by in the wind. I don't know, it just transports me to a certain place and time. Now it is very lilac dominant, but there is also a juicy and slightly tart passion fruit note in the opening. And I just feel like this fragrance is super unique. It's a very pretty scent. I think this would also make a great bridal scent, a perfect first date scent. It is definitely brunch in the park, picnic in the park. It is feminine. And it is very, very inviting. I would highly recommend you try this one out if you like the sound of a lilac dominant fragrance. They do different size formats. You don't have to go straight for the full size bottle. They do offer samples and also smaller formats, like I just said. So if lilac and passion fruit is your thing and you love the sound of a realistic floral fragrance, this is one that I would highly recommend you try. So that was Love at First Sight by Nuit Nomade. The next fragrance is a newer release and I have already reviewed this one. It is Lucky Candy by Montale. I think this is the most perfect spring and summer fragrance. It is floral dominant, but it has some slightly gourmand notes in here, which makes it a little bit more unique than just a traditional straightforward floral fragrance. It is one of the best Montale fragrances in my opinion. I get no synthetic vibes from it. What I do get is a very pretty frangipani dominant scent that also has vanilla. It has some toffee notes. It's a little bit creamy and lactonic. And it smells quite tropical to my nose. So if you could imagine the frangipani, so let's say yellow florals mixed in with toffee, vanilla, and some lactonic notes, that is what you are getting from Lucky Candy. It doesn't smell like candy. Instead, it just smells like sweetened florals with some soft vanilla around the edges. Very pretty, very, very attractive too, in my opinion. Another fragrance that would make a great date night scent, a very brunch in the park, out with the girlies, that type of vibe. It would make a great wedding guest scent. You have to like your yellow florals because I will say they are prominent. They give off a kind of tropical waxy vibe, but when you mix that in with the more lactonic notes, with the toffee, with the vanilla, it just leaves for an intoxicating floral experience in my opinion. So yeah, I highly recommend Lucky Candy as the perfect springtime scent. Next up is Mallow by Dora. And this is another fragrance that I have been waiting to wear because personally I feel like this is more of a spring and summer scent. It did launch later last year and I did wear it, but I didn't get enough chance to experience it in its full potential because I personally would prefer to wear this one in the spring and the summer. Now, this is a floral dominant fragrance. However, it does have some slight gourmand touches to it. It has this pillowy marshmallow vibe and also a little bit of fruitiness. I am getting like a raspberry and strawberry vibe up top, mixed in with the very, very prominent violet notes. So this is powdery. You get powdery violet mixed in with that raspberry note. It smells like some powdered sugar has been sprinkled on a violet and raspberry marshmallow. That is the vibe I get from this. You're getting orange blossom vibes too. Very sweet, very, very feminine. It is powdery, yet at the same time it's sweet. If you love fragrances similar to Parfum de Marly or Rihanna or Kilian's Love Don't Be Shy, but you want something that's a little bit more purple floral dominant and a little bit more powdery, not overly sickly sweet. This is definitely sweet, but a different type of sweetness, it's not caramel dominant, it's more powdered sugar dominant in my opinion. Yeah, you need to check out Mallow. There is a standalone review of this one on my channel, but if you love the sound of a violet, raspberry, marshmallow vibe with powdered sugar, check out Mallow because I think this is such an incredible fragrance. It has insane longevity and projects beautifully too, and is definitely a staple in my collection now. Next up is YSL Libre L'Absolu, and this is the newest Libre flanker. It did launch last year. And initially when I read the notes online, I wasn't sure that I was going to like this one because it features aldehydes, and normally I do not enjoy aldehydes in fragrances. Now, I absolutely love YSL Libre Le Parfum, but this one is my second favorite. Over all of the other flankers, this one is definitely my second favorite because it's very, very fresh. It's a very chic fragrance too, and it almost has this cooling effect to the DNA. And I think that's because it has so much lavender in here. The lavender and the aldehydes together create this very fizzy, almost cooling effect, which I feel like will be so incredible in the spring and the summer. I got this fragrance, I think, in the autumn time last year, but I will reach for it the most when the weather is a little bit warmer. You do get a lot of lavender in here. You absolutely need to enjoy the lavender. I would say this is closest to the original Libre, maybe the EDT version, but the aldehydes give it this airy quality. It has a cooling feel to it, almost metallic. You do get lots of that orange blossom too. It's not overly sweet though. I wouldn't say this is a sweet fragrance. Instead, it's a fresh orange blossom and lavender scent with lots of aldehydes and a little bit of lavender in the base. I would love to hear what you think about this fragrance. I know a lot of people love Libre Intense the most, but this one is definitely underrated, incredibly chic, incredibly elegant, and I love the cooling effect of it. I don't know, it just does something for me. I know my opinion won't be a popular one, me thinking this is one of the best Libres in the lineup, but I truly do feel like this is an underrated one from the collection. It didn't get the most glowing reviews when it first launched, but I really, really love it, and I think it's perfect for spring. The next fragrance is from Ormande Jayne, and this is Sakura or Sakura, depending on where you live. And for me, cherry blossom trees are the most beautiful trees to ever exist. I am a big fan of cherry blossoms. I was lucky enough to be able to see the end of the Sakura season in Tokyo. I didn't see them in full bloom, which makes me really sad, but I did see the most incredible cherry blossom trees in Tokyo. I'm a huge fan. I did used to have a white blossom tree out the front of my house, but unfortunately it got damaged when we had a new driveway put in. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about cherry blossom trees. I'm here to talk about this scent. Now, this of course features cherry blossom as a note, And I can't say I necessarily look for cherry blossom as a note when I'm seeking out fragrances, but this one is so incredibly beautiful. It also features quite a dominant freesia note. There's cyclamen too. It's quite green and tart, almost a little bit juicy in the opening. I think there's a very sharp bergamot note in the opening. That is at least what I pick out. And then a greenness, which makes sense because, of course, cherry blossom trees are also green and living. You have some osmanthus, you have some water lily, I believe there's some violet too. But this is a very green, tart, citrusy floral fragrance. Yeah, I'm definitely getting some type of bergamot in the opening and a very dewy, almost watery vibe about it. Almost gives me the vibe of water lilies or fresh cherry blossoms that are dewy from the night before or they've been rained on. That is the kind of vibe that I get. This is a very unique fragrance in my opinion. I don't have anything quite like it in my collection. It's a little bit musky in the dry down and you also get a woody vibe, which makes sense because again, cherry blossoms are trees. But yeah, it's a beautiful fragrance, which I think works best in the springtime. It does work also in the summer, but it's a very fresh, dewy, watery, floral fragrance with slight citruses in the top, a slight green touch. It's fresh, it's inviting, it's very, very pretty. And if you're looking for a unique floral fragrance, this is one I would definitely recommend sampling it. Do let me know if you've tried this one, and if so, what do you think about it? But I think this is such a beautiful fragrance. So those were all of the fragrances that I wanted to showcase in today's video. I could have included so many more fragrances, but as you've probably noticed, I don't like to have too many fragrances in one video. So do let me know if any of these stood out to you. But what I do want to know is, what are your favorite spring floral fragrances? Please do let me know down in the comments below because I find the best recommendations through your comments. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. Hope to see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much and goodbye.